my gosh, you guys, we have such a good update. I'm so excited. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karina and thank you for joining me on my panning journey. This is our update for January, so following our intro that we did at the beginning of January. And now that we are at the end of January, let's check in and see how we did. And I am so proud of myself. Just so you guys are aware, it is a little bit more than 1 month worth of progress here, because when I did all of the intro swatch pictures, right, so that was, an extra 5 manicures there. I do count those swatch picture manicures as one of the uses. So we're probably looking at about 6 weeks of progress compared to a month, but still great progress nonetheless. In case you didn't catch my intro, and of course if you haven't, make sure you watch that first so you know why I'm doing a project polish and the rules. But again, to do a quick recap on said rules. I want to use my nail polish. This is a rolling project pan, so as I finish, polish up, or meet a goal on it, I will be rolling in a new one. I am a seasonal nail polish wearer, so that is going to influence my choices as I bring them in and when I bring them in. I have either the goal to finish the polish, or I want to use it 10 times before I roll it out. But I do always want to have at least one polish in at all times that I am working to completion on. So let's just dive right into the progress. Such great progress. I am so thrilled. We have, little spoiler alert, 3 roll-ins, 3 goals met out of the 5 that I have. I do want to have about 5 in at all times. Let's start off with one, again, that I was pretty sure that I was going to be able to finish, and I wanted to finish. And that's this guy right here. So this comes from Hansen. This is their Insta-Dri line. This is in 166 Slick Slate. That is where we started off. And I did finish it. It took me 7 uses to finish it. Some of those were with toppers, and I will show you all of the fancier manicures I did. So if I did something beyond just wear the color. So I had 5 manicures where I did something with a topper, twice on the toes. And technically, yes, there is more in here, but it's just so, stringy. Like, look at that string. Can you see it? Oh, it's still going. Okay, there we go. It is so stringy and so gloopy. And as you'll see in one of the manicure pictures, the last one I did, you can tell on the nails. Now, as I mentioned in my intro, I don't mess around with nail polish thinners or anything like that. I don't try to just dump it out so I can use every last drop. It's too much hassle for me. So once it reaches that point, I'm done. And it is like way, way down there anyway. So this is done. Goal met. Polish number 1 complete. So let's talk about the looks that I did with this guy. The first one I did is with this. Okay, so this comes from, I believe it's the Color Workshop. It doesn't have a name. It was a sparkly pink. As you can tell, like all of the packaging has essentially worn off completely. Right, for comparison, I do have one of these so you can see what it looks like. But yeah. Oh, sorry, this is the Color Institute nail polish, and it was a lovely pink. Obviously, you'll see the picture of what it looked like on top, but I am also going to consider this polish done. Obviously, there's still some left, but I cannot reach it. Look at that. It's stuck. It's staying there. And I laid it on the side. I did a lot of this in there. I did enjoy this topper, right? Nice to add on to basically anything. But this is now my second nail polish empty of the project. So anything that I'm finishing up nail polish wise, I will talk about in this project. And the toppers, I generally don't roll in. But yeah, another one done. Okay, the second manicure that I did with the Slick Slate was this guy here. This is Hansen, also their Insta-Dri, but their matte formula. This is in 017 Rose Flesh. I don't like the look of matte nails on myself, so I do, when I use this, add a glossy kind of top coat on it, just so it, again, has that shine, and it really does help to bring out the shine and the sparkle with this color. It is just so pretty. I've used it a couple times. These bottles move very fast at the beginning, but I did enjoy that manicure. The next manicure I did with Slicky Slate, and this is over the course of the month. I didn't just do all of these manicures in order. I used the C&D nail polish. This is in Glitter Sneakers. So a nice little gold one. Now I do apologize, the picture you're seeing, the light was quite warm. It was getting towards sunset at that point of the day, so later in the evening. I did try to take most of the pictures in as best of natural light as I could in most cases. So it looks a little bit warmer, but that was the next topper I had used. This guy, which you would have seen if you caught my Plan to Pan nail polish video. So this is also from the Color Institute. Doesn't have a name, but it's kind of like this hollow silver sparkle, and I threw that one on top. And as you guys are seeing with these pictures, that base color here is getting gloopier and gloopier with each and every manicure and use on there. I did enjoy it. It was quite clear. Like, this is a very base heavy one, so it's hard to get a good balance per se, but got some use out of that guy. And then the last manicure I had with Slick Slate, and this is a topper I used a fair amount, is this guy. Now this polish is also super crazy old. This is the NYC long wearing nail enamel, and like it's like super pretty, super liquidy. But this polish has to be over 20 years old. Like, this is really, really old. So I do want to use this. Obviously, I'm not trying to pan it per se, because again, it's so thin, it goes so long, and this can only work as a topper. You cannot build it up. But I do like how it looks on top of all of the base kind of colors I used. But with this manicure especially, like, I tried, guys. You can really see how gloopy this base color is starting to look there. And that's when it's like, no, we are done at this point. All right, so 5 manicures with this guy, 2 pedicures on that to finish it off, and that was so very exciting. So this is rolling on the project, and I will introduce all of the new roll-ins after we do all of the rest of the updates. Polish 1, polish 2, we're good, we're golden. Let's talk next about this color. So this is the Sally Hansen Complete Salon Manicure in Shall We Dance. And you guys, look at that! Now, to be fair, this is a color that does require, at least for me and how I do my nails, it does require 3 coats to do. It is very sheer, and obviously it's a very like nude. Like, this is literally like my nails but better kind of color. And so you need the 2 coats to really build up that color. The 3rd coat builds it up a little bit more, but more importantly, it reduces some of the streakiness from the previous 2 coats. So that's how I got from here down to here. The goal on this one was to use it 10 times. I did do that all manicures. I did not use this one on my toes. So that was 2 or 3 coats every single time, which got me to here. And I did not use any toppers or anything on it, just because for me that kind of defeats the purpose. Like, this is literally a my nails but better kind of shade. So I just used it as is. Now, at this point, I am going to roll it out. But you guys can see there is not much left in there at all. And it is starting now to get a little bit thicker, a little bit not necessarily goopy yet. But I think that means I'm going to have to roll this in to finish it a little sooner than I had anticipated. So the next time you guys see this one, I will roll it in to finish. I do want to finish this polish this year, especially since we have such little use left. That's going to be based on that progress there, because the bottle tapers, and it's going to be less than 10 uses, and we'll see how far I can get with this guy. But at this point, it is going to leave the project. I am very pleased with this progress. This is the next color I want to talk about. This is the Kozmic Colors, and it does not have a name on it. It is this beautiful kind of sparkly blue color, and it was a full bottle when I had put it in. And I got it down to there. Again, let's talk about how I got that much progress, because that's more progress than I was honestly expecting to get. Now, I have used the mini bottle of this kind of polish before. And the mini bottles, I find, like, when you start, you got to keep going. They don't have mixer balls in it, so they do get very thick very quickly. This one, and this was my first experience with a full-size polish, it is very thin. It is very liquidy. It takes 2 or 3 coats for this dark color to build it up. Kind of frustrating. So if I was going to wear a topper, which I'll show you the toppers that I did use with it, I would use 2 coats of this. I did use this as a pedicure 2 times as well. And then I wore it a bunch on its own. If I wore it on its own, I would wear 3 coats with it. And this did require a top coat when I remembered to use top coat, because I'm very bad at remembering to use top coat. Because if I don't use top coat on it, then it doesn't last very long. So like within an hour even. It's like, oh, I smudged it and it moved and it chipped or it did whatever. I do have another full-size Cosmic polish in my collection. It's a pink color. I am interested to try it to see if the formula is similar to this. If it is, then that's probably consistent with a lot of these polishes, and I won't buy any more of these full-sized ones. The mini ones, at least so far, have been performing better with the one I've tried. My goal was to use this 10 times, and I did use it 10 times. So this also will be leaving the project at this point as well. Let's talk about the nail combinations that I did for some manicures with it. The first one, again, familiar topper. I used this blue guy on it. And I did really enjoy how that looked, right? Again, just to bring more of the blue, because there's a lovely blue sparkle in here, but you have to be under the right lights to see it. So this helped change the appearance of it a little bit there. I also used this guy. This is the Sephora Color Hit. It's a topper. It's gold sparkle. It's in the shade Gold Fever. It is a pain in the butt to take off. Like this glitter, like you'll remove the color off of the glitter before you get the glitter off. So although I loved how it looked, right, it did look very elegant, very sparkly, a little bit more bold. It's not a topper I want to use a ton. Like I do want to use it. I do want to get it out of my collection because of that annoyance in the application. But again, it's the annoyance of the application. But I loved how that manicure turned out. The 10th manicure that I did with this Cosmic Blue was actually with this one. So this is the Pacifica. This is their Plant Magic. This is their 16 free nail polish. And I have the shade Mermaid Tail, which, as you guys can see, I have a lot of progress on this particular color. This can be built up to look like it does in the bottle, but that does require 3 coats. Would benefit from a 4th to do it. So I did have this in my project polish last year when I was doing this on my own. So I wanted to see how it performed as a topper, and as you guys can see, it's beautiful. It's lovely. I did really enjoy it. And yeah, that was the last topper that I used with this blue in there. So, not super thrilled with the performance of this polish. I wish the sparkle in that color, because that's what really sets this apart. That's why I bought it. I like that sparkle. I like that shimmer. And that's what helps distinguishes it from any other kind of navy blue color that you have. Very common color. There are ones with better formula. I just wish that sparkle worked a little bit better. But for now, this is leaving the project because I did get my 10 uses. Next one that we have to discuss. I made such good progress on it. And I had started wearing this one about once a week. And then I did pick it up a little bit towards the end. And I'm actually going to revise my goal on this particular one. So this is going to be the Revlon. So this is the Revlon. So this is their nail art Expressionist in the shade 350 Ulterior Motif. So it is a dual-ended one. And my goal originally was to use this 10 times. And so far I have used it 6. And I do wear these together, right? This is my base color and I throw this topper on. But let's look at the progress, you guys. So starting off with that gray in 6 manicures. And again, there's not a whole ton of product in here. This has 7.68 milliliters of product. But I went from here to here. I think I only have 1 manicure left in here. Maybe 2. But it's like 1 or 2. Like that's all that I've got left. So my new goal that I'm going to have, I want to finish this side up. When I finish this gray, and there's just that little bit left at the bottom, I'm going to turn my attention over to this side. So let it settle for a moment here. So it's in the progress of settling right now. This side settles quite quickly, but once it has a chance to kind of sit a little bit longer, you guys will note I started about here. I'm currently about here once all of that product settles down. So what's going to happen is once I finish this side, Like this topper is beautiful. It removes well. So I'm just going to move this over to my topper collection and I will use it organically throughout the year. I do want to have this finished for the end of the year. That's going to count as 2 polishes because, again, you can't declutter or empty one fully without the other. So then you'll see this. You'll see this color a lot more. You'll see it being used as a topper. But revised goal, finish this. It's going to take 1 or 2 uses likely. And then I will finish this one organically over the rest of the year, not being directly talked about as a main focus product. So that's the goal on that one. The last polish that I have in this project right now, the 5th polish, this is from the Color Institute, just a nice small little bottle. It is a black and it does have some nice sparkle in it. And if we turn it around for my progress, I did just use it this morning. I planned to film this yesterday, but for those of you who suffer from chronic headaches, you know what that's like. So it might be a little bit below the line now, but I started up here and I am down to here. And this one does have a goal to finish. I've used it so far, including today's manicure, 8 times. And this was exclusively a manicure color. I did not use it on my toes at all. And that's the progress I was able to make. So what I've realized about black in general is that I don't like it on its own. Even with the sparkle in it, there's not enough sparkle within this particular one, or at least doesn't translate on the nails the same way. So I don't like it. It's too stark, it's too dark, it's too black, basically. Other dark colors, fine, right? And they can work well if they're a little softer, a little warmer, a little bit more whatever in them. So this I used once on its own, which you'll see in the swatch picture. But then the rest of the time, so the other 7 uses, so I used it 8 times total, 7 times I had toppers on top of this guy. So let's go through those. There's a lot of them, buckle up for it. Number 1, and I'm sorry, I don't have a name for this, but this is such a pretty, like, purple to gold to green to bronze, this little OPI, and of course OPI doesn't have their names on anything. And I wasn't, like, I did buy this as part of a set, but I wasn't going to keep the packaging for the names, and I didn't record it or write it down. Bro, excellent. I used it once as a topper. It was beautiful as a topper. I did enjoy this pairing. I used this blue NYC Anonymous topper here. It is what's on my nails today, so you can kind of see that in action as well, in addition to the picture. So I did use this combo twice for this one. The next combo I used is this one. And this also came from like a dollar store kind of, it was a Dollarama, might have been. I don't remember which one. But this is a topper that performs beautifully. I love both of the toppers I've tried from this brand. This is the Sassy and Chic. This is in the color 943. And it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I enjoy it. It looks great. I liked this manicure quite a bit. Then I went a little bit brighter for an option here. Was it really wintry? Maybe it kind of still worked within that winter context. But this is what I put on top of it. So we had the black base, and then I used this Sally Hansen Eternally Grapefruit as a topper. At first I was a little concerned it would come out a bit Halloween-y looking, but I thought it looked gorgeous. It gave this beautiful shimmer to the nails. This is a topper I'm enjoying a fair amount. Not my usual kind of topper. And probably not one I would try to build up on its own, but I love it over these uses. Then I used this guy. So again, that is the Color Institute Nail Polish Silver Holo kind of color. The manicure was very thick. So it takes 2 coats of the black, and then because this is so base heavy, I was trying to build up that glitter, and yeah, I mean, it's okay. It did feature the black a lot more. I wasn't a big fan of that particular manicure, and I also like smushed it like after an hour of wearing it. I went to open the blinds. I don't know what happened, but the polish basically just went all the way, not all the way, but like halfway back on the nail. And I was like, well, I'm taking it off, doing it again. So things like that sometimes happen, which is how I get a couple extra uses on these things. But I used this topper And so I will have to be careful because I think I just layered too much of this, that it had a really hard time drying. The last topper that I used with the black also was difficult to get off, but I did love the look. It's the Sally Hansen, the Extreme Wear. This is in Rockstar Pink. And as you can see, I have a pretty clear line. So the fill line is right here. So I've used a decent amount of this, both on its own and as a topper. And it, again, the main problem, it's difficult to get off. It is so beautiful. And if the ease of removal was a bit easier, or if I had to peel off base coat perhaps, I would use it a lot more. But I don't. But I did love how that manicure turned out. So let's talk about my polishes, where we are at before we do new roll-ins. These three I met my goals on. So I had these two, which were used 10 times. This one was a goal to finish. That leaves me these two left in the project. And again, goal is to finish the black, goal is to finish this gray, and then organically use this one as a topper, put it back in my collection. So that means with 2 polishes left, I get to roll in 3 new colors. If you saw my Plan to Pan nail polish, then these are going to look pretty familiar. So I'll explain the reasoning behind my choices. I will show you some swatch pictures, and then we'll talk about my goals for the next month. So I have 3 new colors that I am rolling in, and I do keep everything tracked in here in my notebook, so we'll just kind of go in the order that I have written them down, as we've been doing this whole time. Spoiler, that's what we've been doing. And the first one is another Plan to Finish, and that is this little guy. I don't have a name for this guy. It's a little OPI, little red mini. This one came to me as a gift just like this, so I didn't even have initial packaging that I threw out and didn't keep. Talking, difficult. So let's talk about this polish. I am on the good news side. I'm very excited. It is bright. And because we've been having some nicer days here in Saskatchewan, I've started already getting a little bit of that urge for spring shades. But that's probably going to get squashed very quickly because we're supposed to have like -30 again. Starting today, tomorrow. So, going to be really cold. But I do want to have a red in for Valentine's Day. Have something a little bit brighter. So I'm very excited for it. But I am also a little bit nervous about this polish. Again, it's a small size. I haven't used one of these up before, but it's only 3.75 milliliters in here. So that's not going to be a lot of use. I have used it once for that swatch picture, and I can see it's already down to here. It was full when I started, so I don't know how many uses I'm going to get out of here, and that was with 2 coats. But the part that makes me nervous is this stained my nails. It made them quite yellow, even though I had a base coat on it. So it looked like I was pretty bad at using a base coat previously. And so when I was starting to be a little bit more consistent with my nail polish use, my nails did get stained a little bit. And then, you use some base coat and all of that, and you're fine, and you're good. But then this basically took me right back after a single use. So I am a little bit nervous about this. So we'll see how it goes. So mixed bag on this little red guy. The next one. This is Rebel by Reese. So this is a Canadian brand, available in Just For You Day Spa. This particular color is Elementary, my dear Watson. And I know exactly when I got this one. This was the manicure pedicure color I had for my sister's wedding, which was back in May. So it hasn't been in my collection very long, and there hasn't been a whole lot of use. There was the manicure and pedicure for the wedding. There was the swatch picture that you guys are seeing, and when I did initially mark it, you can see that drop in one use. Now this particular one is quite thick, and it's thicker than the other Reese that I have been using, so I went a little heavy on this one, and the manicure didn't look as great, so apologies for not the great swatches, not the best swatch picture. So the progress won't be as big as this, but I still made really good progress on that. The goal is to use this one 10 times, and then we'll see where we get with 10 times. I mean, maybe that's going to get close to the end, and we're going to have 2 kind of news that are going to be coming out very quickly. But I did enjoy the look of it. It is a little bit more pink than the shell color, so although it's still a nude, it's a bit of a different nude. And then this is the last polish that I have, and it is kind of a black color, so it is kind of similar to this one. And the shimmer in here, that purple to kind of bronzy color, you might be able to pick that up. It's having a hard time translating to the nails. I wore this yesterday, so I could do that swatch picture for you guys. When I introduced this in my Plan to Pan nail polish, I didn't know anything about this one except that it is in the shade 007 Black Perfecto. I didn't have a brand or anything. And then the wonderful Michelle, thank you so much. She has identified this as a Guerlain. So that is very, very fancy. That's probably like the fanciest nail polish that I own. But thank you for identifying what that brand is, so now that we all know for us. The goal here is to use it 10 times. And this has a pretty clear mark of the fill line here. And so this is where I am starting off with this polish. So that's the current lineup. It is still fairly dark because I'm trying to push through some of these darker polishes before we start getting into spring, because I don't want to have a whole bunch of pressure in the fall and the winter for a lot of the dark shades that I did have in my Plan to Pan nail polish video. So there is still going to be a little bit of overlap between with this color story, but February is a shorter month. Not only because of the dates, but also in terms of how much I'll be able to wear nail polish. So I generally do my pedicure once a week. I do my manicure basically every day, but there's going to be a period kind of mid to the end of February of 8 days that I don't anticipate my nail polish consumption to be the same. And I'll explain why in my next update, of course. And it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad at all. But I am expecting, obviously, 8 days out of the 28 days. So that leaves me just under 3 weeks, plus these couple extra days at the end of January, since I am filming on the 27th today. And I want to have this up for you pretty quickly. So it's about a month of progress, but then I lose those 8 days once again, as I mentioned. So because of that, that is going to affect some of the goals that I'm going to set for myself here with this project. And I do want to play with them, right? I have 3 new colors in. I want to see what I feel about them, what I think about them. So let's talk goals before I keep rambling on forever. Obviously, goal number 1 is going to be to finish this gray side. As I mentioned, 2 manicures max. And again, I will use that topper. Then otherwise you'll see this topper on a bunch of other manicures. So the second goal I have, and if I don't quite get there, I will get close. Because again, I don't want to burn myself out on any of these colors. But can I finish that black? Maybe, right? So it started there, went to here. That was, let me just check my notes again. Yeah, so that was 7 uses when I marked it. We have gone 8 uses, so it's going to be around this mark right now. The bottle does taper in. I don't know how much I'll fully be able to get, so I may be able to do it. I'm going to aim to do it. It's part of the reason why I picked the black as my base today. And again, this will be used with toppers. So at least I do get some variety in that particular regard. If I don't meet the goal, again, no big deal. It's just nail polish. I will have this one at least met, so there will be at least 1 new color in for you guys. That is a goal. I want to have something rolling in all of the time on these projects to keep it interesting for you. But it would be nice to have 2 things to roll in, because transition to spring colors, because that's going to be coming. Because that's going to be in March. Like, oh, look at that time go. The years are crazy. And then in terms of these 3, I just want to play. Right, that's all I want to do at this point. Play, make progress, formulate opinions on these a little bit more, since I'll be using these formulas more consistently. So that's what I want to do. And again, we'll see how this red one goes. But that is everything. So I am very pleased with the progress I was able to make and share with you guys today. So of course, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy nail polish pans, or nail polish project pan videos, make sure that you like this video, subscribe so you do not miss my update, which will be coming at the end of February for you guys, to talk about the progress I'm able to make over the month of February. All right, that's where we'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in my next video very, very soon. Have a wonderful day.